Things began to improve after the country was liberated from dictatorship. The love movements of the 1960s, the late 1990s, and the early 2000s all contributed to a shift in women's behavior toward being more authentic. The concept of pickup artists began to gain traction as more and more internet platforms emerged. As a result of a change in the distribution of social power, women started reaping its rewards. The same time period saw the emergence of internet groups and subreddits specifically for women. It would appear that men have figured out how to understand women and take use of this knowledge. They seem to have stumbled onto a technique, and it could be explained here. Men from all around the world gathered for at least 8 years to debate the place of women in modern society. How much things have deteriorated since we first started talking about it. Men from all areas of life have finally realized the low risk to benefit ratio of approaching women in general, and they've gathered together to talk about it. This is being done so that they can respond to the concerns that have been raised. Understanding human nature has led to the rise of popping the red pill as a cultural phenomenon and metaphor for an all-encompassing world perspective. Everyone can be convinced to take the red pill if you just keep talking about it. Millions of individuals have tried to disprove red pill ideas, but ultimately, it seems, they are always validated. Fundamental understanding of the world's underlying essence is beginning to take shape right now. Men, who traditionally hold the majority of financial and political sway, are less likely to become engaged as a direct result of women's increasing involvement in the divorce process. Many well-known people, like Johnny Depp, have seen huge decreases in their money and power as a direct result of the legal system during the past few years. Amazingly, today's society has progressed to the point where notable figures are beginning to understand the perils of playing games online. That we have come this far is proof of how far humanity has come. They're playing music that reflects the current era. Once upon a time, women could guarantee their protection from violence to men of authority. But in today's world, not even the most powerful men are safe. Some very influential and well-known people have recently lost their employment after long tenures in those positions. They have either taken the red pill or realized they do not need security. Thus they have adopted the associated ideas. This is the form of criticism that has recently been leveled towards Vince McMahon. Sometime in the not-too-distant future, specialists and internet superstars like Andrew Tate and others will come to dominate a range of industries. People like him are blacklisted to safeguard the red pill from adverse publicity from the media. In a world where women have an unrivaled power advantage over men, all it takes is one powerful female voice to bring you crashing down to the ground. Regardless of how much riches or influence you've amassed over the years, how long do you think it will take until the majority of men recognize that women act in ways that are counter to what they have been taught? Assuming that most males have attained this enlightened state, we can say that they have taken the red pill. You take a step back and look at human nature from a bird's eye view. You'll notice that men like Andrew Tate are gaining attention and support from people all across the globe. You think it's high time for males everywhere to finally see women as they are. The success and acclaim of people like Andrew Tate have made this realization possible. These numbers provide insight into the phenomenon of so many men with marketable skills leaving the labor force. They have recently come to terms with their wrongdoing and seen that the means of accumulating wealth have changed. They have accepted the idea that scandals and rape claims can now wipe out their entire existence. Nothing remains constant in our ever-changing world except the fact that middle-aged men are still ruled by the biological tendencies with which they were born. This is the only constant that can be traced back over many years. Things have greatly improved in MGTOW. Two of them gave considerable weight to how much they believed in their own intelligence. They've given up on women altogether. Most men don't feel they need a female partner in order to be happy, since they have the ability to make its value greater than the value a woman can offer in terms of her biological potential. This is due to the fact that men have the ability to add more substantial worth to their possessions than women do. Having a woman who can act as a partner for both of them on the level of mental equality and who can perform that role for both of them concurrently is much more essential to these men than the thought of sleeping with several women. These guys will never find a normal, stable partner in today's world. Therefore, they can forget about having a normal, stable family life. In light of this, they have concluded that the problem is not related to gender. Exactly the same conclusion that every single one of us males has come to. The majority of people can overcome their preconceived notions and see reality for what it is. As far as I'm concerned, this is the one and only event in human history that has the potential to drastically change the way things have always been going. We will be able to convince women that intelligence is more valuable than any other quality, so neutralizing the power they currently possess over us. A female perspective is needed to explain this discrepancy. Who among the women who are actively dating lacks the ability to bargain? The school of thinking suggests that women are at a disadvantage in negotiations because they lack the power to strike deals with powerful business figures. Men require the ability to articulate their ideals and ambitions, and then they must strive tirelessly to realize those aspirations. Imagine for a second that, instead of slacking off during the previous 2 decades, males had consistently displayed manly behavior. What would happen if every time a woman used her body to advance her career or gain a man's favor, he asked her, "Why should I do all of this for 3 minutes of pointless pleasure?" This is just idle speculation, of course. Just think about how drastically our way of life would change if anything like that actually occurred. Really, you must be completely crazy. This is what I have to look forward to if I adopt a more positive view on life. The biggest setback is when successful men, like actors and millionaires, decide to retire early because they realize that the hazards of sleeping with women outweigh the possible rewards. The most tragic occurrence would be the departure of famous people like